All right. So we're going to start with the Toronto and M80 match. I say start, we're going to end it over Toronto and M80 match. A long day of streaming. Some okay EMEA games so far, but this is really the headline fixture I think everyone has been waiting for. I think the two top teams, especially since M80 took that series off Toronto in the upper bracket final of OWCS Stage 2, I think a lot of people have been excited to see them, see how far they can go. And we're going to get them go head-to-head in a best-of-3 today. We can take a little bit at maybe what we expect out of the bands. If I go over to North America, Toronto Defiant, we can see Toronto Defiant normally ban Samoa. Obviously, Toronto are going to be picking the first map and the third map in this as well. So normally ban Samoa, sometimes ban Ike, sometimes ban Midtown. And they always ban Shambali, So we'll see what M80 are planning to do. It looks like they normally ban Samoa as well. That's interesting, right? Both teams hate Samoa. M80 also really struggle on Midtown as well, I think. They do normally ban Hollywood. I could imagine M80 actually banning Parisio against Toronto Defiant, though, because they don't very want to avoid the dive. Who wouldn't against them? Let me do this so you can see this as well. But yeah, as you can see, Hollywood is actually M80's normal ban, so it'll be really interesting to see if they actually continue that, or if they do lean into Parisio, which I think will be the more likely ban for M80. Meanwhile, they also ban Shambali, so M80 and Toronto both hate Shambali. Shambali haters never want to go to the monastery. Never at all. So, I think if I'm the Toronto Defiant in this situation, we're going to get the bans now, actually. So it was Toronto banning Oasis initially. Samoa is the other perma ban. So if I'm M80, I don't ban Samoa. Because you gamble what you do if you're M80, you gamble that Toronto also don't want to ban Samoa, and then you can pick between Busan and Nepal. But actually, Toronto are going to pick Busan now, actually, I think. Probably. I think that's a stronger map for them. The way this works, we can't actually see the bans until afterwards. So M80 is now banning a map. We expect Parisio to be taken out of the equation here. M80 considering what to do next. Yeah, there goes Parisio. Then Toronto, I'm not sure actually what they normally do. Midtown or Ike they take away. Midtown is actually a map M80 normally struggle on. Oh, okay. Toronto don't want it either. Interesting. I feel like Midtown is one of the points M80 has consistent struggles with. But Toronto don't seem to agree. Now, M80's pick. Let's see. They have gone to Icon World before, didn't win it though. M80 considering. I'll start putting predictions up for everyone in chat as well. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a sort of code word system, obviously, because one. Alright, map number 3 now. And we'll put 5 minutes on that. Alright, so remember, both teams permaban Shambali in this situation, so we have to consider both teams might avoid banning it on the basis the other team can't pick it. So Toronto have banned Junkertown. M80 now can actually, if M80 can essentially presume that Toronto won't want to play Shambali, and if they don't want to play Shambali, what you can do is, they banned Shambali. I feel like M80 could have called their bluff, not banned Shambali, and then basically got to pick out of Rialto and Root by banning one of them and only leaving one option. So we will see. What mode we're going to, what maps we're going to get as this finally comes out. We're just getting M80 to pick the side for the escort. And it looks like we're going Busan, Eichenwald. Oh, it was just on hold for a second. Did anyone see the third map? I saw Busan, I saw Eichenwald, and then it seemed to drop off. So wait and see where they're deciding to go with this one. On hold, can't see why. My room chat's also not connecting. We've had a series of issues with lobbies in some of the earlier games today, but honestly, I was hoping we were kind of past that. Hoping we were past those issues. But the lobby is currently on hold, so we'll see. We'll see what the news is from the teams, or we'll see what the news is from the players. But for now, we're just on hold, and I can't see room chat, so I'm not sure what's going on. I can do a slick transition here, out of respect for my love of AMD. I know how big on AMD everyone is. Hold on, that. Still on hold for lobby, so we're just waiting right now. Just waiting. Not sure exactly why we're on hold. We'll wait and see. Can't see match chat. No word from the players. No word from anybody. Should I drop Cass a message? I can drop Cass a message. Or I'll drop Danny a message. He's probably less busy. Oh. Waiting for lobbies. A familiar position we find ourselves in. It seems Toronto also don't know why the lobby is on hold. Both teams are ready, yeah. Alright, yeah, Danny says both teams are ready, so not sure exactly why we're on hold. I presume we're then having to just get an admin to unhold us, to take us off hold. Take us off the hook, put us back on the track. And then we can get this eagerly anticipated match. And I think it's worth saying as well that since that M80 win of the upper bracket final, there was very much a bit of a... Some people thought when the Koreans, Pelican and Happy came off ping, that would be a huge boost. That would be a huge boost to M80 and it would put them really close to Toronto. And a lot of people thought maybe that wasn't true. At least initially, the upper bracket final really seemed to confirm the fact that the Koreans did make a significant difference. Not just the Koreans themselves, but the fact that the whole team is together and able to interact and on the same time zone. And there's some sort of bonding, emotional morale boost that all combined together to give them that upper bracket win, but they weren't able to convert it into more than a single map in the grand final. So I think this is an important test for M80, especially in terms of can they continually, even if they don't win today, if they win or lose, it is somewhat irrelevant in the sense that we are just on a new patch today. Both teams are going to qualify for the top 8 and the knockout round, and then even ultimately then both teams are probably going to get 2 of the top 3 spots in North America, and that will take you to the Esports World Cup once we get to the later stage of this tournament. But I think it's still a really important test in terms of can they consistently go close in series with Toronto. If that is the case, I think we will see a true level up in terms of M80's power. If they maybe just get rolled, or it's maybe the nature of how they lose as well. If they lose 2 close maps, maybe it's still fine. But if they lose maps, if it's just a bit of a blowout, then that's maybe a bit of a red flag that Toronto will remain maybe just in their very own special Toronto tier all for themselves. And I'm not saying that because there's an AMD logo near my face right now. I'm saying that because I think it's quite plain to see Toronto are the kings of North America. We're still waiting. Lobby is still on hold. Both teams are ready, but the lobby seems to have set itself to on hold. So we'll just wait and see. We'll wait and see. No technical issues from the players though. Seems to be a purely lobby related issue. So we did go to Busan first map, right? I saw Busan, and then anyone else who saw it, was it Eichenwald? I can't remember now. It was only up for a glimpse before the lobby went on hold. It seemed to insta go on hold. The first map's really interesting because Busan has such different stages. There's Sanctuary, which for Toronto has always been a Zen and a Bald Soldier Tracer normally. And recently we've actually seen M80 playing that same comp here. So we could actually be queuing up a bit of a ball-based mirror on Sanctuary, which will be odd. Meanwhile, obviously, Mecha Base very much favors Lucio Ram or Lucio some kind of brawly type comp. Like to see a Ram mirror there even. Rush is so powerful on that one. And then, obviously, there's Downtown, which historically is a dive-favoured map. So Toronto might still commit to the dive in that situation, but I don't know how M80 will respond. Kasaurus is the new owner. Kasaurus is in charge. Okay. All right, everyone. It's been a long time coming. It's been a messy road here. But I think we've actually reached time to play some Overwatch. Can you believe it? We're going to go to Busan. We're going to get the match we've all been waiting for. It's going to start. It's all going to be lovely. And we're going to load in right here, right now. The scoreboard is on. The players are in. Toronto Defiant versus M80. There we go. There we go. In case you thought I was unbiased, this stream is brought to you by Toronto and AMD and Bell, so you're going to have to deal with that. Quick pause test. Quick pause test from Kasaurus just to make sure the pause works. Laya wants to talk to RuPaul about something, presumably quite pressing. He says he's got something insane on the baseball game. You're going to end up on the streets. It was free. Not sure what Laya's talking about.
5, 4.
Sugar Free suggesting a quick swap to the Marvel Rivals tourney. But they've got this business to settle first. We'll be going out into this first one. It's going to be Amalga, Genji, and Pelican is on. Pelican's on the Pharah. Unexpected. Pelican's obviously very good at Pharah. He's got a lot of damage on these players coming in. Lamp is going to keep everyone up for now. They are forcing them out of a choke, and M80 have to take this back step. They hold on. The space is there. There's Pelican. Pelican's staying for Pharah. They're coming out the other side. Thank you for the raid, Spilo. Welcome, everyone. Toronto versus M80 match is just starting. Big engage on the choke now from someone. Hawk's going to try and force his way back out. And they've caught Vega, actually. How they've done that. A little bit of assist from everyone. Now RuPaul and Sugar Free are split. RuPaul's going to have to TP back, but Merit's caught on the other side. The repush from M80 is good, and Toronto didn't actually cap the point. They didn't cap the point. So, all of that hard work, all of that initial space, now they won. For Nout. They don't get anything out of it. Now we're going to get someone swapping over onto Sigma. Now what you generally do if you're the Sigma against the Malga is you can actually let the Malga come in first, then you shield off his healing, then you matrix his cardiac overdrive, you even rock him after pin as well. You do some combination of those things, you can put the Malga under a lot of pressure. We see now as Toronto trying to swing out on this right-hand side. They're trying to shield for Pharah. It's actually very tricky. Barrage just catches RuPaul. They lamp the Barrage. Lamp is good from UV. And M80 remain on top. The Pharah is the key. The Pharah is the key. They're in control. They've actually pushed quite... they're actually making a mess of this. Maybe M80. They're going to lose both DPS chasing kills. They did everything so right, but now it's all gone so wrong, and someone and Vega want to move out to point. M80 are having to concede space, just trying to keep their remaining 3 players alive. Disruptor shot forces UV to lamp, and now Sugar Free's actually lurking on the flank. Chance to finish a kill. Merit's done it for him, though. Now M80 are just going to try and die on point as best they can, and they had done so much right. Throw it away for a very silly mistake, and the worst part of all of this for M80 is Toronto didn't use any ults for that retake, so they get to hold on all of their ults. Kitsune Rush beat available, Overclock, Flux, loads of great things to start with. I think M80 are probably going to try and give them a little bit of a shimmy right, shimmy left, try and get out, drop this window when they see it, be ready to disengage Kyriol. There's the window, aggressive, they force him back. Merit's met with the overclock, but scary for Merit to peek versus this. Sugar Free is making his way in behind on this right-hand side now as M80 try and force point. The window expires, Heinen to keep forcing point. Pelican is marking Sugar Free though, no problem for Pelican. Pharah beats Tracer in the 1v1, especially if you happen to be called Pelican. Kitsune Rush onto point, does deny the flip. Now a Flux, it's a misfo from someone. Hawk is going to go back to try and finish the cap. The rest of M80 spread out and go with a beat push. Vega's able to beat back, but Hawk's forcing point here. Here he comes, overrunning all the way back. M80 group up and someone has no HP. RuPaul desperately trying to pocket him, but Hawk and the gang are barreling forward. Toronto are on the ropes. Toronto have stolen the point back. Nissel neutralized some of the damage. Pelican has pressed Barrage because sometimes it's just okay to press Barrage if you have it. They've cleaned up the point. The flip nev from Toronto is actually so important because they really would have had a struggle to touch this without it. Over to Baptiste now as RuPaul, much to maybe Hawk's dismay. Hawk now has this cage, can make this next fight very tricky, and no ults to deal with this cage. If Hawk hits the cage, it's just over for Toronto in this first round. They're going to try and swing out top. Can Hawk get there in time? They're speeding him there. He's looking for it. The cage, it's got 3 of them. They just need to help get the kills. Matrix comes through from someone. Shield as well. The lamp is saving them all. The window over the top. Oh, it's an execution in the doorway. Somehow, some way, Sugar Free has stolen the point again. This will slow him down. But it's so tricky. It's so tricky in this touch now. Where is Sugar Free? He's coming from lower, but Pelican is marking it. Happy is around there too, on the high ground. They're trying to come through. Pelican has this barrage. Someone's going to get the first touch, but he loses half his HP for it. They have got a bit of space top, but here comes Hawk. Suzu saves Merit, but he's now completely isolated. Defensive punch from someone helps, but it sets up a barrage for Pelican. Lamp barrage is good again. Happy and UV have locked down the point. Sugar Free and RuPaul do manage to kill the high noon, the Kaz through the high noon. But the damage is done. The damage is done. M80 find themselves 1 round up. Liar celebrating early in chat. Need to be careful not to celebrate too soon. But we are going on to downtown now, which is the most dive favorite of the maps, and historically speaking in North America, Toronto are not just the kings of North America, they're actually the kings of North American dive. That's why you'll see in the ban phase now, particularly M80 were pretty keen not to go to Paricio when he's really dive favored stages, but he can't avoid it on Busan. And it looks like we're actually going to get a bit, well, a sort of mirror here. It's going to be Doom Pharah dive versus Winston Ashe dive. So one of these is traditional, one of these is not very traditional at all. Doom can be tricky into Anna Brig. No great way. You have to just try and juke for sleep. Onto the high ground now to threaten the Ashe. Both tanks vying for space. Pelican just going to play essentially as a hit scan. But he is going to get shot in the face by an Ashe. Merit's now swung out wide on point, and there's no one ready to stop him. Hawk's going to have to try and get out. And they're just playing for space right now. Dynamite and nade onto Hawk will force him all the way out back to spawn. And I think, is he going to go swap Winston maybe? Winston or D.Va potentially? He's going to go Winston. Pelican sticking for Pharah for now. Obviously, they've got their DPS the wrong way round for these swaps in many ways, you know. So ideally, they'd have, if they wanted to go a hit scan, they just put Happy on it and then Pelican to Traitor. But it's 2 swaps. The timing was probably there if they wanted it, but instead they're going to keep going. And Hawk jumps. Someone just bubbles him off. Easy enough for someone. And back to the respawn. Back to the respawn. Our M80. Continuing with the Pharah here as Pelican. The Ashe, such a threat for him. Sugar Free's also on his left-hand side with Pulse Bomb. They're going to try and walk out through this left-hand side. Just trying to keep him contained around this room for now with Sugar Free. All the other ults coming up as well. Pressure onto Happy. Forces him back as Merit continues to lay down the damage. Happy's going to try and take some space. Will force a deep peek. Pulse Bomb opportunity onto Hawk. It's good. An easy one for Sugar Free in the end. Happy is 1 HP. Manages to avoid the melee with the recall, but he is still low. They do manage to get all the way out for now, but they've also killed UV, so it should just be over this push. 61% got it. Oh, someone actually wants to go all the way. Does he? He accepts the death in exchange for the kill onto Liar, but maybe this actually makes an opening for M80 to finally get out of this choke and attempt a retake. Pelican's going to swing to point first. He's not had a lot of freedom to do anything. I mean, maybe as you would expect on downtown as Pharah into Ashe, but here he comes anyway. Bob will be thrown out towards choke. We'll keep the M80 backline in check, but Pulse Bomb attempt comes out from Happy. It is blocked though. Sugar Free's awfully weak, as is Pelican. Pelican will die. They've traded RuPaul for it. Hawk is not up and as primal, and they've cleaned up on point, and I don't think, while the M80 backline is alive for now, I don't think any of them can touch. They're going to get separated here by someone. Sugar Free is still looking for more. Pulse Bomb won't connect, but the touch is nowhere close, and well, that was about as one-sided as you'll see at downtown. The retake on downtown is obviously tricky to say the least, but That was not a good look. And I think that probably will seal the deal a little bit for how much of this Winston mirror we really see throughout the matchup. The Pharah probably didn't help as well. Pelican's going to continue to play Pharah. Obviously, a lot of Busan, not a great map for Pharah, but if he likes it, he likes it. And I guess they're going to try and make it work. Will be the normal comp from Toronto by the looks of it in this Zen Ana on rollout. Looks like it's going to be Ana, Brig, Sigma. I presume Happy will be going Tracer and Pelican will be saying Pharah. And Merit will probably be going Soldier at this point. So yeah, Happy's going to go Tracer. So the Ana Brig relatively effective into Ball. Obviously Hawk can Rocket as well. So a decent amount of counterplay here. Pelican can obviously interrupt with Boop as well. So they're maybe relatively ball-proof as they take over in this inside area. But it's how they deal with this Ana Zen. In this type of matchup, this type of map, if you let the Ana Zen play the game and are free and unchecked, they will take over. And we see Vega with an early kill onto Happy to do just that. Sleep Dart is going to miss, and oh, Vega's just taking over. Every kill easy enough for him after that slam. Hawk and Pelican have pushed all the way, and Hawk's actually traded the backline here, so it's actually not over yet, because Hawk and Pelican have got 3 kills. They'll try and clear this ball off. Slow and steady from Hawk. Trying to clear this ball. Will hit the rock. More damage on him. They're losing players as this is happening. Pelican has to be careful because he's flown into the ball here. Hawk still trying to anchor point. Will Matrix now. Slam onto him as well. Tries to get out of there. Defensive nade is good. Ball is super low actually. Merit's on this right-hand side. Can anyone clear it for him? No. They've taken over this right-hand side. Here comes Sugar Free. Here comes Merit. And now UV's in a lot of trouble. A response now attempted. Happy will trade 1. He needs full pocket out of there. The nade doesn't connect from RuPaul, actually. So even though Toronto have stabilized, they will be forced back. And we see the Ana Zen mirror now coming out. Liar's going to match Vega. Pelican coming back with Barrage. Nano available as well. Could see a classic 3-2-1 Nano Pharah. We'll keep our eyes. Pelican's going to try and come through this right-hand side. It's a very long and open map. Trying to play around these roofs, trying to hit a rocket net for his Tracer. Just put pressure on, misses for Boop. Will get slept, but kills RuPaul for it. A worthwhile trade, especially if they can keep him up now. Mines on point will slow down M80. They're still getting chased out of this one. Sugar Free is hunting him. Pelican, oh, nearly gets him. Sugar Free does get the trade though, but this Nano will secure point. Maybe he actually didn't need the Nano in the end. I don't know if it was meant more for Pelican to try and save him. But either way, they managed to stabilize M80. Probably get one more retake after this, but need a very good hold. It's going to be Nano Transcendence advantage for Toronto coming back here. Sugar Free's getting marked. Vega's come all the way left-hand side here. Hawk is going to drop a Flux onto RuPaul. Easy kill there as the Visor comes in. They've dealt with the low ground here. Pelican's going to try and force Transcendence. They will have to use now. Vega's going to take it to point, and they use it to finish the kill onto Hawk. Happy and Pelican are still around, but they've got no healing. They've got no support. And they'll fall to that one. They use both Nano and they use Transcendence for that. And they even use Visor as well, so a heavy one. a heavy investment. And Liar's going to get the kill onto Sugar Free. Happy's going to get a single touch. Has to be careful. Liar's orbed him in. Oh, Liar has to be careful. They have to force through point. Have to make this retake work. Hawk's going to touch point now. Sugar Free's going to be back soon, so that opening pick just makes for the initial space easier. Now Vega's going to swing back. They're trying to finish it here. Lion needs a lot of help. Sugar Free really wants to force the kill. Meanwhile, Hawk's just flipped for point here, actually. Merit's trying to come left-hand side onto Pelican. They've got people all behind her, but Happy's found the pulse bomb kill, and that's the crucial one now. If they can keep their backline alive, they might be okay, but they've lost Hawk on point. Slam coming in for Pelican. He will get focused down by Merit. Lyra and UV, they need to find a kill. Slam will be coming in. This ball is on a lot of health. Transcendence is used to keep him alive. UV nearly has this. He wants to go push for Soldier, but Lyra's gone a different way. Lyra and UV go different directions. They're both okay for now, though, but Lyra's getting pushed by Sugar Free. Recall is forced. Sugar Free wants to force for kill. Can get a kill. Hawk's going to die. Nano onto the Pharah here. Pelican not going to last very long at all. Toronto will be taking map number 1. But it was anything but a straight line to that one. A particularly difficult start on Mecha Base. And they are able to recover it, of course. But maybe a bit of a worrying omen for some of the later matchups, especially if we're going to keep seeing some sort of rush mirror. Obviously, they won the more niche matchups. They won the Sanctuary matchup, and they won the downtown matchup. So it feels like Dive is very much off the cards completely for M80. And well, maybe Ball and a Zen is, but maybe that was off the cards anyway. That's not Sanctuary anyway. So as we move on to this next map, M80 obviously have to win it to keep us in the series and keep us going. We'll be going to Eichenwald. And we'll see where they line up in terms of the decision between a dive map, obviously, and a brawl map. This is where teams tend to go. Obviously, dive is very favourable on second because of all the high grounds. Just get a confirmation of a pick. I'm pretty sure it was Eichenwald. We only saw it for a second on the FACEIT screen, but I'm pretty sure it was Eichenwald. Gator confirms. Yeah, so it will be Eichenwald. Let me double check they're going to be on the right sides for this so the HUD isn't interfered with. And as we move on to Eichenwald, yeah, I think the big decision for Toronto is what they play. Do they play an Anna Brig version or something like that with a Winston? Do they play Kiri, Lucio, Winston? Something that maybe can transition between both. You know, maybe they start Kiri, Lucio, Ram on first point, then swap to Winston for second or something like that. Would be quite reasonable. But we'll have to wait and see. I think obviously if you're on the M80 side of things, the Ram is what you're going. You're probably going to go like Ram, Bap, Lucio, Cass, maybe the Pharah. I mean, it certainly seems like they're pretty committed to the Pharah, hey. But if they're going to do it on Busan, which is a pretty difficult Pharah map, this has got to be a slightly better Pharah map, surely, right? A slightly better Pharah map, so seems like Pelicans. He's immediately locked Pharah.
Initiating match.
And it will be M80 to attack first. We'll have to wait and see what they pick. Obviously, it'll be telling more for Toronto since they're on defense. So very interested to see what heroes they come out on. Maybe particularly someone's hero will be the biggest indicator of what comp they'll be on. Whether he locks Winston or whether he goes Ram. And it seems like this comp is very much designed not to transition either from Toronto. And this is the full version of Brawl where they're going to be playing Cass, they're going to be playing Ram, they're going to be playing Bap. They are all in on this version of composition, which probably I think actually suits them. And at least for now, hovering Bap Brig as well, which is an interesting choice. Something a lot of teams, maybe particularly Korean teams, particularly American teams, like to do on some of these hybrid maps. We'll see how it pans out. I think there is still like a relative consensus that Lucio beats in this type of comp. I just need to do the predictions quickly. So let's see. Toronto Defiant. As we move into this first map, going to be Toronto holding. Let me just get the next one up quick, and then we'll lock in properly, okay? We'll lock in properly. Alright, sorry. So, that Brig, Pharah, very sturdy, and I guess lots of high damage from Pharah. Pelicans made... They just burnt through someone initially. Alright then. They're going to trade Pelican for it, but now M80 have all the space. They have Sugar Free behind to contend with as well, but hard for Sugar Free to do too much here. RuPaul's trying to pocket out Merit, but he's slightly split here, so they're going to turn and try and deal with Sugar Free now. He's being forced out, actually. Sugar Free will get a single touch. They're going to try and come back in. Here comes Vega. He gets the touch, but he's not got enough support. Now Merit's coming out. He's booped out with this high noon. Actually a pretty precarious situation. Merit's still trying to go. They play for the kill. They do get him. Pelican has died again, but the lamp is good for Liar. UV will pocket everyone through. Huge health advantage now. Someone is low, but RuPaul's got the window. UV has to de-peek. Hawk with the slow onto it. UV's going to window back. It's a brave peek, but he's forced back quickly. Now Vega's back from the spawn. Boop onto him. They're all shooting different targets here, M80, but they are all killing all of these targets, so it works out. It's a scrap in the end, a big old scrap. But they make it work. They make it work. We'll be sticking this. Obviously, one thing that is true about the Pharah, while unorthodox in this comp for sure, is actually pretty good on his second point of icon world, because he can start taking these high grounds mid-fight. He's hard to deal with. And maybe M80 have seen a Pharah vision that no one else has quite yet. Coming back, Pelican is lurking behind. Do they know? They do know. He's going to keep lurking, though. He does have this barrage as well. Lamp has actually been forced here. The rest of M80 are just forcing them through point. Here comes Merit. He's looking for him. Pelican is in so much trouble. Bat Brick, he needs all the packs in the world. He's dodged for Pulse Bomb. He is lurking. He's jungling through Castle right now. They're marking him as hard as they can, Toronto. But this payload is still moving. He's down to 10 HP again. Oh my god, they've killed Vega. How's... Oh, he's got the barrage. No! Merit will go down. Lamp just about keeps him alive. They're now all trying to come through this high ground tier. The rest of M80 are following up with Hawk. They're a little bit slower as this form is used. And actually, Hawk wants to drop onto RuPaul. He forces him up top, bash onto Sugarfree, but now the Annihilation. Hawk's dropped onto the low ground. He will be able to finish one, but Lion needs a lot of help. Hawk's coming to try and help him. Sugarfree is still all over Liar. Liar's getting pocketed. It's not quite enough. I get why Hawk dropped. He saw the kill, but he's actually left the rest of his team short up there for the ult exchange. So Toronto were able to trade a lot of kills, and they will be able to stabilize on the high ground here, even though Pelican has now gone Tracer and is able to get a little bit more cart progress here. Magnetic Grenade will force the recoil out of Pelican, and he'll be chased away as the rest of M80 want to come back up top with their ults. They've got High Noon, they've got Window, they've got a chance to really push them back here. Toronto can match it, but it's a precarious place for Toronto. Not great lamp spots. They try and back up. High Noon's being pushed. Merit is out of lamp for now. Happy's booped to the low ground. Actually, Hawk is in so much trouble. They're bullying him in the corner. Pelican's trying to bail him out. They can't quite keep him alive. Hawk will die. They did Window back in the end, so it will be a Window advantage coming back for M80, but they're going to have to all go via the respawn queue here. If Pelican can get out, it'll be safe. Liar making a long-winded escape all the way around the edge. Another chance at what is the most difficult part of Icon World. Very tricky. And they're holding high ground again here, Toronto Defiant. Coming through one by one, and Pelican's going to try and pin back Sugarfree. He's going to force everyone to look at the cart. Now he's drawn a bit of attention. M80 use this as their opportunity to rotate. They are going to come the far way up, and this time they have window advantage. No great ults to go through the window or to deal with it, so they just have to disengage the window, but this gives M80 free access to start moving point away from them. Pressure onto someone. They boop him out. Someone's taking a lot of damage. He gets back inside, but look, Pelican is moving the payload where else is happening. Hawk's got them all pinned back, and now Hawk is the Annihilation to keep going. He's awfully low. Careful, Hawk. Careful, Hawk. They're going to beat back. Lion doesn't quite have it yet. Now the window. They kill Hawk. The payload was dealt with by Sugarfree during all of this. They still trade kills, and they're on the low ground now. Pelican is moving the cart further and further away. Vega will be coming. Goes for a pulse attempt, Pelican, but doesn't hit it. Wanted to try and clutch it himself. Meanwhile, UV is still in a dogfight. He's holding the high ground, but he's in a 1v4. They're going to stall him out ultimately. UV will accept his fate. Meanwhile, Pelican still harassing the payload. They have now got it to one fight territory, even though they lost in that fight. UV's going to be going Kiri now as well. What do they do here? Do they just try and force point with Pelican and UV going behind, maybe? Looks like they're trying to come underneath initially. They're just going fast, actually. They just want to swing. They can swing with Happy's overclock if they want. They have to deal with this. Oh, Happy's going to get caught, though. No chance to use it. They're going to beat anyway. They need to try and kill someone with it. Either literally someone or anyone else will do as fine. They're forced off to the high ground here, and they will get the cleanup. Hawk's going to reset. If they beat an overclock there, they probably have the damage to either just have Happy kill someone with the overclock or even burn through the ram in that situation, but they don't get it off. Happy gets caught. They go for the quick rotate. Pelican has hit the emergency Pharah button as we move into these last 30 seconds. We'll be harassing them on the high ground. Disruptor shot and shield to help M80 rotate. So slightly short on cooldowns, but they can get out. Sugarfree is lurking with this pulse bomb. They have to be careful. They're trying to rotate, but UV gets caught in the rotate. Hawk's going to try and move to point, and wow, they've just been absolutely demolished. And no chance to use this overclock again. Pelican trying to get to point. Cannot get to point. And it will finish ultimately 117.5 meters. That is not that far. We've seen, obviously, if you've watched some of the icon wars earlier today from EMEA, you would have seen quite a lot of full holds. So you know it's still quite holdable in first, especially if we're in a brawl mirror, that type of thing. But overall, it's a pretty beatable distance here on second. We'll get the fight. I mean, obviously it was right by the payload, so it does give them essentially the full run of fights on second here, M80. And Icon World is anything but straightforward. But a lot to be asked, I think one thing that's really true now is if Pelican keeps the Farah button, once he gets in this high ground hold, if you're M80 here, the ability to rotate underneath when you've got a Farah who can peek through any of these doors from the high ground and just fly back up is actually going to be so obnoxious. Now, this part of the map could be really tricky for Toronto versus for Farah. They're going to go Bat Brig as well. So a sturdy composition. No Lucio. And they'll be trying to hold on. We've seen a lot of full holds on Icon World lately. And maybe a full hold is too optimistic against a team of Toronto's caliber. But a good amount of time for clock you'll be pretty happy with. The first step to that is not letting Merit headshot anyone for free. He's going to go for the grapple shot. This is... I mean, all the grapple shots are super well known, but this is maybe one of the most well known of the well known. Hopefully Pelican's not doing anything crazy like peek and spawn. He hits the boot though, so they can't take the grapple. Was it necessary? Was it necessary? Nobody gets away with it, so it's fine. Now we'll be rolling out here. Will be Lucio, Bap, Cass. The classic, the most common comp we're probably seeing at the moment. And Toronto will get through this first choke. Sugar Free will have relative free reign here. Happy and Lyra are going to have to take a bit of extra responsibility dealing with this Tracer. Actually, Pelican's going to look at him now. Hits one rocket, and that will slow Sugar Free right on down. Hawk's going to play in this corner. UV and Pelican peeking back. Damage onto someone forces his form out. Hawk's going to have the later form. They've actually rotated to the other side of the point here. They're going to get their lamp force early. Happy's in a lot of trouble, and someone finds that one. Just get caught in the rotate, the danger of being a bit slower with no Lucio, and now Hawk needs all the help in the world. No lamp available for him. Lyra and UV push forward to try and get value, but they can't. The lamp is going to keep Merit safe while he finishes off Pelican. And a straightforward first point, and you could not have asked for a better start.
Stop the payload.
Now we're going to get Lyra go on to Lucio. So a little bit harder to heal Pelican now, but that's not really slowed him down. Didn't slow him down on downtown at all. Now this is the part where I think is, once they get the cart in this area and they have to start doing castle rotations, I think this is where the Farah is going to be at its most dangerous. The big problem, of course, with no Tracer is it means Sugar Free can force point in a lot of these fights and be quite tricky to deal with. Initially, though, Sugar Free nearly has Pulse Warp and he's looking for a play. Oh, the stick is good. Lamp is there. Can he finish Lyre? No. Pelican repels him. A good attempt by Sugar Free. Now no lamp to deal with, and they're going to keep forcing point. Hawk's going to drop and contest it. Lyra and Pelican coming down as well. They want to chase Sugar Free out behind them here. They will force him away, but because Hawk is dropped, they're using this rotation to go high ground. And actually, wait, where are M80 going? Toronto tried to rotate them, but it's M80 who are rotating Toronto. They've given them a flip. Window on the high ground. They get out. Oh, Lyre's booped, though. The boop is good from Vega. It catches Lyre. Means this beat's going to be slow. Now the Annihilation comes through, but Pelican, barrage, and Window inside. They only trade 1 for 1, and where is Merrick going? He's flanking. He wants to push Happy. Happy's getting pocketed. He's trying to force the duel. Lyre will come and clean him up, and M80 have stabilized, but look how far the cart has got. We're really in one fight territory now for the cart. 4 minutes left on the clock. A tall task ahead of M80. Merritt's going to be on Widow as well, I think, just for any spawn shot if Pelican overpeaks. Pelican's considering it. Chooses not to in the end. And it's going to be a dive swap up. A dive swap up now. Lucio's going to be kept for Vega as he has beats soon. I imagine he might well go Brig or Kiri afterwards or something like that. Maybe even Alari wouldn't be the craziest thing. Maybe it would. Pelican's going to take responsibility for marking point, which is going to be awkward in the Farah v Tracer duel. Sugar Free will get chased away for now, but now someone's coming to help force point as well. They need to focus on clearing someone. It is difficult for Merritt and RuPaul to take much space during all of this, but Sugar Free's going to use that as an opportunity. They're trying to snipe Pelican down. He needs the full pocket here. It's an awkward pocket as well, but Pelican has destroyed Sugar Free on point. That'll do the job. That'll do the job, and M80 can stabilize. They have to be careful not to go too far here. Pelican is peeking spawn. They've got to care Merit swap into Widow and spawn. Sugar Free's going to come through. M80 have gone all the way. RuPaul hits for sleep and gets out. They need to be careful. RuPaul will die, but Lyra is on the chase. Pulse Bomb's going to force him out as well. Someone wants to dive main trade. M80 managed to get everyone out for now. They've managed to stabilize, and they will make their way back to the high ground. A scary, scary, scary... A scary situation there for M80, but they get the kills, and they've got all their ultimates as a result. Someone's going to get booped on this high ground. Oh, where is Happy going? Happy is going all the way in. The rest of them are going to drop pressure onto someone. They execute RuPaul while they do this. Barrage on point helps clears it. Now the beat comes back. Someone wants to drop this primal and keep going. Trades can work in Toronto's favor, and he has taken UV for all sort of a ride here. But no, the damage for Peel comes back. They force someone all the way out, and someone just has to play his life now. He manages to jump all the way out, but oh my god, M80 used all 5 of the ults there. I mean, wasn't shy of using it either, was Toronto. Now they're holding Happy onto the high ground here. Sugar Free's trying to force points, so someone has to meet him. They don't have a tracer to meet it. Jump up here. Meanwhile, Merit's trying to flank through house. Sugar Free's still forcing it. He's had his recall force though, so Pelican has kept him at bay for now. And Hawk's actually caught Vega. He was trying to help Merit on the flank, but he's the one who gets punished. And now M80 can take a little bit of a step forward. They have to respect this point C9 though, without their own tracer. They have to kind of all stay here, which means if Toronto realizes they can just take the high ground for free. A chance to come through again. Magnetic Grenade on the top. Pelican sending some damage down there. Heinen is available for Merit. No ults just yet. Pelican nearly with this. Dive comes in. Pelican's going to play for point. Sugar Free's killed him. Point is open. Point is open. They can't touch. Sugar Free steals it. Sugar Free seals it. GG's. 2-0 to Toronto. Maybe the expected result. Maybe the expected result. We'll get into someone play of the game. I think it was probably the defense one, where he just managed to walk forward and he catches one of these rotations. Yeah, here we go. Just easy kills. Absolutely demolishes them. A twofer in the air. Catches both of them. We'll come back. Clean up Hawk as well. Nice and easy for the big man. And Toronto find themselves on top. Maybe a result that didn't surprise many people ultimately. M80 very much tried a unique look with Farah, and honestly, it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst thing I ever seen. It maybe seemed like it was just going to be like a first fight thing on one of these maps. It certainly worked for all of Mecha Base, and then after that, they just kept doing it. A new look. And maybe there's something there. It was certainly gave Toronto some problems. One of the big problems they did have was what we saw at the end of Iconworld, where it's actually a bit rubbish if you don't have a tracer to mark the point on some of these payload maps. It can be a really fundamental way of how you hold a lot of these situations and how you can still hold high ground but maintain any risk of a C9 as well. In terms of what we saw from Toronto, I think a pretty classic performance from everyone. I don't know, in terms of player of the game, I feel like maybe someone. It wasn't for his most vintage performance, but a few nice RAM plays. Sugar Free had a very solid game. Maybe it was Sugar Free, actually. I think I'm going to give it to Sugar Free. I think obviously he makes the game-winning play at the end with that C9, but I also think throughout he looked dominant whenever he was up against on the Tracer. He consistently found value. Nice stick on Lyre as well through it. I think even though he got bopped a few times by Pelican, I think he adapted to the problem reasonably well. And other than that, pretty solid performances across the board, I think, from all of the Toronto players. I don't think anyone sort of stood out for better or worse. I think reasonable performances for most of M80. I don't feel anyone had like a particularly bad game. Maybe a quieter game from Happy than we would like to see. I think, especially on the Sojin, on the attack on Iconworld, never got to press that overclock, never really felt like he made that any of his big plays. Similarly on the Cass, didn't feel like he was really taken over at any point. Both hit scans maybe relatively subdued compared to some of the bigger performances we've seen lately. Maybe you think about like Spark in the OWCS later stages in EMEA really taking over. Didn't really see anything like that. But other than that, it looked relatively competitive. I thought M80 clearly want to be the more aggressive team. You saw this in a lot of their decision making. They want to aggressively punish a lot of these mistakes. They're quite happy to rotate. They're quite happy even to sacrifice sort of stereotypically believed to be good hold in terms of sort of chase and push kills. It cost him in some of these situations, but it also got him advantages. I think it probably, on balance, cost him more than it gained them. But it's always going to be tough against Toronto. And as much as I don't think this was too bad a performance from M80. There's maybe some questions over whether Pelican was just thought they could catch him with something new, something unexpected. It certainly seemed like a thought-through plan, in terms of the swaps. Pelican didn't commit to Farah literally every situation. Did swap it a couple of times. While the downtown one and the sanctuary one, the Farah seems more of a hot take. It actually seemed not awful, especially on Mecha Base, and it really didn't seem too bad on Icon, at least for more brawlier maps. So, a failed experiment, at least for now, but maybe there's still some more decent uses for it as well. I thought, especially Icon World 2nd, when we're working with this high ground, I mean, the answer would be, why don't you just play an Echo or something in that situation? That would be the other, maybe the obvious argument in that sense, but it's fun to see him try something new. Pelican made us a few plays. He bopped for Tracer, maybe more than you'd expect him to. And overall, a decent game. A decent game, even though the stakes maybe weren't the highest we'll ever see. We still expect both teams to get out of this round robin ultimately. We can check if I can press the right combination of buttons. We can maybe check the scoreboards. I don't know if we're going to get any truly great insight from any of those. Oh, the scoreboard is not. Of course, the scoreboard is not available, so we can't check the scoreboard. I lied to you. I tricked you all. There will be no scoreboard because obviously we played it just in a custom lobby rather than in the FACEIT lobby. So that'll bring us up to scratch or up to date. Toronto remain on top. No more news to report. Toronto Defiant on top, and M80 Farah wasn't the solution. All right, so I've stopped the YouTube recording now. So I'll edit that together and get it out tomorrow because I know some people will be keen. I'll pay out the, let me see, Toronto Defiant. Whew. All right. Yeah, Reinforce keen for the payout. You've got it, Johnny. Jeez Louise. Whew. It's warm in this room. That would be fair to say. That wouldn't be a lie. Wouldn't be a misrepresentation at all. It is warm. All right, should I come back to live for a little bit? I don't know. I think I'm actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to end the stream right here because it's obviously quite late. We saw a lot of Overwatch today. Most of it was me being shit at Overwatch, but we also saw some good players play Overwatch, which was obviously nice. And in the meantime, what we'll do is we'll end the stream for today. There'll be no stream tomorrow, but we'll be back on Thursday for more action. If you missed any of the games from today that we watched, I'll be getting them up onto my YouTube throughout tomorrow at some point. If you miss any of the FACEIT action or you want to see more of the games, there's a bunch of VODs on my YouTube as well. There's also, if you don't have time maybe to watch all of the games, you then you can go just watch my summaries on YouTube as well, which is maybe just more of like a quick fire through all the results, a bit of a look at the standings and where we are for each week, both North America and Europe, whichever one you were interested in, or watch both if you're interested in both regions. There's a lot more FACEIT action to come. I can show you a bit of a schedule for what's in store for the rest of the weeks. We're going to have, this is EMEA we're looking at right now, so we're going to have SSG Twisted won't be happening this week, but Ataraxia versus Super Shy. We're going to get SSG versus Ataraxia, which I think is a really important one. That's going to be Saturday. Temporary Name versus Super Shy, maybe some Twisted versus Rock, some of these more sort of middle of the park battles. Meanwhile, if we go over to North America, we can see a similar thing. So again, we're looking at week 3 over here. Just had that one. I think the big storylines from this week are Pip. How well can Pip do against FMCL, TSM? Pip have won a couple of games, maybe a bit closer than they wanted earlier on. in weeks 1 and 2. Now they're going to get a real test against FMCL, TSM, and even Shikigami as well. Similarly, we've seen Green Fortnite do pretty well lately. They're actually quite high in the standings, but they've got more severe tests this week against FMCL and TSM as well. So a bit of a look again in the middle of the pack to see how no teams are going to sort themselves out. I think still a lot of these teams will still get the top 8 spots, but I think especially for teams like Green Fortnite and Pip, they might be balancing out, or battling it out rather, for that 7th and 8th sort of qualification spot right at the bottom. So I think there's still a lot to play for in all of these games as we sort of cross the threshold towards the first half being complete. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I do appreciate it. I'll send you somewhere with the host. I don't know where yet. I'll send you somewhere. By the time I do it, he might not have heard this, so I might just have to decide who's streaming. Any of Toronto guys? Let's see. Maybe apply. Let's see. Yeah, maybe apply as the go-to. I presume he'll be watching some good stuff. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I realise the stream's been a little bit improvised today. Not maybe quite what we're used to. We've got some more matches on Thursday to come out, and that we'll be covering live. And then we'll do a bit of a VOD review stream on Friday just to try and catch up and learn about some of the action as we sit in this new patch. So thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate all the support and everyone tuning in. If you want to check out any of the VODs, they're on the they're on the Twitch right now for subs only, but they'll be out tomorrow for all the matches on YouTube as well. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night, and I'll see you in the not too distant future.